This vegetable might surprise you, but the truth is, it's not the only one you should be watching. As we get older, some of the foods we've trusted our entire lives start behaving very differently inside the body. A plate of greens that once felt like the safest choice on the menu can quietly tug at your blood chemistry, interact with your medicine, and nudge your risk for clots in ways almost nobody warns you about. In this video, we're going to walk through 5 common vegetables that can be amazing for your health in the right amount, but complicated and sometimes risky for seniors when the balance is off. By the time we're done, you won't just know which vegetables deserve extra attention. You'll know how to enjoy them more safely, instead of being scared of them. Before we dive in, I want you to keep one idea in the back of your mind. None of the foods we're about to talk about are bad or poisonous. Every single one of them is packed with nutrients. The real plot twist is how they combine with age-related changes, blood thinners, blood pressure pills, slower kidneys, thyroid issues, and circulation that's not quite as smooth as it used to be. That combination, not the vegetable itself, is what can quietly set the stage for clot formation in the brain. So as you listen, don't think fear. Think strategy. Think about how you can use this information to ask better questions, make small tweaks to your plate, and keep enjoying food while protecting your heart and your brain. And keep watching, because the last vegetable on this list, the tiny one a lot of people only eat at the holidays, might be the one that surprises you the most. 1. Spinach, the healthy hero with a hidden edge. Let's start with a classic, spinach. If there's a poster child for healthy eating, it's this one. Low in calories, full of iron, folate, fiber, and vitamins, it's been called a superfood for years. You see it in salads, smoothies, omelets, everywhere. But there's one part of spinach that becomes a very big deal in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, especially if you're on blood thinners like warfarin. Spinach is loaded with vitamin K. That's the vitamin your body uses to make clotting factors, the proteins that help your blood plug up a cut and stop bleeding. When you were younger and not on blood thinners, your body handled those ups and downs without much drama. Once you're on a medicine that works against vitamin K to keep your blood from clotting too easily, big swings in vitamin K intake can throw everything off. 1 week, barely any greens. The next week, huge bowls of spinach every day. Your medicine is dosed for one pattern, and your plate is suddenly playing by another set of rules. Picture someone like Maria, a 72-year-old grandmother who decided she was going to get serious about her health. After a checkup, she started each morning with a tall spinach smoothie and added a huge spinach salad every afternoon. On paper, it sounded perfect, but her warfarin dose had been carefully set based on the way she'd been eating before. Within a few weeks, her blood tests started bouncing around. 1 month her blood was too thick, the next it was too thin. Nothing about her pills had changed. The only big change was that mountain of spinach. When her doctor finally asked, "Have you changed your diet recently?" the light bulb went on. Maria didn't have to give up spinach. She just had to stop bouncing between none and a ton. Once she picked a reasonable daily amount and kept it steady, her numbers calmed down, and so did her worries. That's the real lesson with spinach if you're on a blood thinner. Consistency beats perfection. You don't have to fear every leaf. You just don't want a roller coaster. If you're taking warfarin or another clot-related medication, bring up your usual veggie habits at your next appointment. A simple question like, how much spinach is okay for me, and how steady should I keep it, can save you from a lot of confusion, and maybe from clots that form because your food and your medicine were quietly fighting each other behind the scenes. And spinach is just the beginning. The next vegetable on our list is bright, trendy, and famous for boosting circulation. But for some seniors, it can accidentally turn your blood pressure into a ride you don't want. Beets, better circulation, or blood pressure roller coaster? Now let's talk about beets. If you've seen videos or articles about natural ways to lower blood pressure, you've probably seen beet juice at the top of the list. The reason is pretty cool. Beets are rich in natural nitrates. Your body turns those nitrates into nitric oxide, a gas that relaxes blood vessels and helps them open up, which can lower blood pressure and improve blood flow. For many people, that's fantastic. But what happens if you're already taking strong blood pressure medications? Maybe 1, maybe 2, or 3. All of a sudden you're stacking a powerful natural vasodilator on top of prescription vasodilators. For some older adults, that mix can push blood pressure too low. At first, the signs can be subtle. You stand up and feel a wave of dizziness. You get a strange, washed-out fatigue in the afternoons. Your brain feels foggy on certain days. It's easy to shrug and say, "I'm just getting older." But sometimes, what you're really feeling is big swings in blood pressure. And when pressure drops too low and then rebounds over and over, your body has to work harder to protect vital organs. It may tighten some vessels, adjust heart rate, and change how sticky your blood is for short periods. None of those things are what you want when you're already at higher risk for clots. And there's another layer: oxalates. Beets are naturally high in oxalates, little compounds that can stress your kidneys and contribute to kidney stones in people who are prone to them. If your kidney function is already slower, which is true for a lot of seniors, large, frequent servings of raw beet juice can be more load than your kidneys really appreciate. Some people also have trouble with beets and uric acid, especially if they've dealt with gout before. Imagine Dennis, a retired teacher in his late 70s. He watched a video about beet juice and thought, why not? Every morning, he started drinking a big glass, on top of 2 blood pressure pills he'd been on for years. At first he felt proud. He was doing something natural for his heart. But slowly, he noticed that whenever he stood up, the room tilted for a second. Walking to the mailbox felt more tiring than it used to. He blamed age. His doctor blamed age, until they went through his daily routine and discovered the new beet habit. With a few simple changes, smaller portions, fewer days per week, and more regular pressure checks, Dennis kept beets in his diet without letting them drive his numbers wild. The takeaway with beets is simple: they're not evil. They're powerful. They act a lot like natural medicine. If you're already on blood pressure pills, especially if you have kidney issues or a history of stones, don't make beet juice a daily star without a quick conversation with your doctor. And if you suddenly add big beet servings and notice new dizziness, unusual fatigue, or brain fog afterward, that's a sign to pause and ask questions. And if you think that's complicated, wait until you hear what can happen when a superfood everyone praises starts leaning on your thyroid, your clotting system, and your medications at the same time. Kale, superfood or silent complicator. Kale has had its moment in the spotlight for years now. It's on magazine covers, smoothie menus, snack chips, you name it. People talk about it as if it's the secret key to living forever. And to be fair, kale really is nutrient-dense. It's packed with vitamin C, fiber, antioxidants, and yes, a lot of vitamin K. That vitamin K piece should sound familiar by now. Just like spinach, kale shows up on the high vitamin K list that doctors and pharmacists look at when they're adjusting blood thinners. If your kale intake suddenly jumps from hardly ever to every day, your warfarin dose may suddenly be too weak for you. If you slam the brakes and go from kale every day to almost none, that same dose can suddenly become too strong. Your blood tests bounce around, and so does your risk of clotting or bleeding. But kale adds another twist. It's a cruciferous vegetable with natural compounds, often called goitrogens, in large, frequent raw amounts, especially in people who already have thyroid issues. These compounds can interfere with how the thyroid uses iodine. The thyroid helps set your body's rhythm, your metabolism, your heart rate, how warm you feel, how quickly your body responds to activity. When that rhythm gets pushed off balance, your circulation can change, your heart rhythm can wobble, and your energy can sink. None of that is ideal when you're already working to keep clots away. Imagine Lorna, 76 and determined to age gracefully. She buys a high-powered blender and starts every morning with a big raw kale smoothie. Handful after handful goes into the blender 7 days a week. On top of that, she's taking a blood thinner, pressure meds, and a small thyroid tablet. At first, she feels good, like she's doing the right thing. But after a few months, she notices she's dragging through the afternoons. Her heart feels off, sometimes, her feet are colder than usual, and her blood tests for both clotting and thyroid keep drifting. It takes time for anyone to connect the dots. Only when her healthcare team asks specifically about her new smoothie ritual does the picture come together. With some simple shifts, reducing the raw kale, cooking more of her greens, spacing them out through the week, and keeping her intake more predictable, her numbers settle and her energy starts to return. The message with kale isn't throw it away. It's treat it with respect. If you're older, on blood thinners, or taking thyroid medication, kale can still be part of your life. Just avoid the extremes. Don't jump from none to huge salads and smoothies every day, overnight. Don't make giant changes without looping in your doctor or dietitian. Let your care team know what you're doing so your medications and your meals can work together instead of taking turns surprising each other. Now, let's move to a vegetable that seems calm and harmless on the plate, but quietly plays with vitamin K, uric acid, and your hydration, all at the same time. Asparagus, elegant, healthy, and a little tricky. When people talk about heart-healthy eating, asparagus usually gets a gold star. It's low in calories, high in fiber and B vitamins, full of antioxidants, and it looks fancy on the plate. On paper, it seems like the perfect side dish for someone who wants to age well. But, just like the others, asparagus has a side most people never hear about. First, asparagus contains vitamin K. Not as much as a giant bowl of spinach, but enough that it shows up on lists of vegetables to keep consistent if you're on warfarin. If you're used to eating almost no asparagus and suddenly start piling it on several nights a week, you can quietly shift your vitamin K intake without meaning to. Second, asparagus is naturally high in purines. Your body breaks purines down into uric acid. If your kidneys are young and efficient, that's not a big deal. But if you've been told you have gout, borderline kidney function, or a long history of water pills and other medications, then adding more uric acid to the mix can mean more inflammation and thicker-feeling blood in the wrong context. And third, asparagus acts like a gentle diuretic. You probably already know one famous sign of asparagus, what it does to the smell of your urine. That smell is a clue that your body is pushing more fluid out. If you drink plenty of water, no problem. But if you're already on a water pill, already forgetting to drink enough, or already getting up at night several times to pee, more diuretic effect can tip you into mild dehydration. When you're dehydrated, your blood becomes more concentrated, your heart has to push harder, and your clot risk can quietly edge up. Think about Robert, 80 and proud of his clean eating. He starts grilling asparagus 3 or 4 nights a week because he's heard it's great for his heart. He adds a little salt, roasts it until it's tender, and feels very virtuous about skipping heavier sides. At the same time, he's taking a water pill for blood pressure and a blood thinner for an irregular heartbeat. Over a few weeks, he notices more nighttime leg cramps, darker urine, and a heavy, tired feeling after short walks. None of these scream emergency, so he ignores them. When he finally mentions them, his doctor looks at the full picture: water pill, blood thinner, lots of asparagus, not much plain water, and sees a pattern. With a few small changes, like spacing out the asparagus, cutting back on salt, drinking more fluids, and tweaking his medication schedule, Robert gets to keep the vegetable he loves and protect his circulation. So asparagus, like the others, is not about all or nothing. It's about dosage, balance, and context. If you have gout, kidney issues, or you're on diuretics and blood thinners, treat asparagus as something to enjoy in reasonable portions, not something to binge on. And pay attention to what your body tells you. Deeper fatigue, stronger cramps, new dizziness. Those little signals are worth listening to. And now, we come to the tiny vegetable that might surprise you the most, the one that shows up at holiday dinners, is loaded with nutrients, and yet has a very real, proven impact on how blood thinners work. Brussels sprouts, tiny, trendy, and surprisingly powerful. Brussels sprouts are one of those vegetables people either love or hate. For a long time, they were the joke of the dinner table. Then, almost overnight, they became trendy. Roasted Brussels sprouts with balsamic glaze, with bacon, with cheese, you see them everywhere now. They're high in fiber, vitamin C, and a group of plant compounds that may help fight inflammation. On the surface, they look like a nutrition win. But when it comes to blood clot risk, especially for older adults on warfarin, these tiny cabbage-like globes pack more punch than most people realize. First, Brussels sprouts are extremely rich in vitamin K. So much so that clinical research has shown that eating large amounts every day can actually change the way warfarin is cleared from your body. In plain language, that means your medicine may not thin your blood as much as your doctor expects. If you suddenly go from Brussels sprouts twice a year at Thanksgiving to Brussels sprouts twice a week, your blood thinner may quietly lose some of its power, and your risk of clotting can rise without any dramatic warning. Second, many of the recipes that made Brussels sprouts popular add a lot of salt and fat. Bacon, cheese, creamy dressings, and salty sauces all taste amazing, but they also push your blood pressure up, especially if your arteries are stiff or narrowed from years of wear and tear. Combine vitamin K swings with blood pressure spikes, and you've got a situation where both clotting and vessel stress are happening at the same time. Third, Brussels sprouts are cruciferous, so their sulfur-containing compounds can upset sensitive stomachs when eaten in big portions. Bloating, gas, and discomfort might not sound dangerous, but when you feel miserable after eating, you're less likely to move, less likely to drink water, and more likely to lie around after a heavy meal. For older adults whose veins already struggle with circulation from the legs back to the heart, long stretches of sitting or lying down after salty, heavy meals can quietly increase clot risk. Think of Elaine, 79 and newly obsessed with a Brussels sprout recipe she found online. She roasts them with oil, adds crumbled bacon and cheese, and decides to start making them every week. For years, her warfarin dose was stable. After a while, her blood tests become harder to control. She also feels more bloated after dinner and starts skipping her usual after-meal walk. None of this feels like a big deal until her pharmacist asks, "Have you changed your diet? Are you eating more of any particular vegetable lately?" Once Elaine connects the dots, she doesn't have to give up Brussels sprouts forever. She cuts the portion size, uses lighter toppings, spreads those heavy meals out instead of piling them into 1 week, and keeps her care team in the loop. Her tests smooth out again, and she feels more in control. That's why Brussels sprouts are the surprise vegetable in this video. People expect spinach and kale to have strong effects. Hardly anyone suspects the little green globes at the edge of the plate. But now you do. So at this point, you might be thinking, okay, if spinach, beets, kale, asparagus, and Brussels sprouts all come with strings attached, what am I supposed to eat? The good news, you don't have to fear your food. You just need a better plan. This steady plate rule, how to enjoy these foods more safely. Let's pull everything together into something you can actually use in your kitchen. The first big idea is what I like to call the steady plate rule. Your body and your medications handle patterns much better than surprises. Instead of swinging wildly between no greens at all and huge piles of greens every day, pick a level of leafy and cruciferous vegetables that feels realistic and stick to it most days. Maybe that means spinach twice a week, kale once, Brussels sprouts once, asparagus once, and beets in small portions here and there. Maybe it's a different mix that fits your taste and your doctor's advice. The exact pattern doesn't have to match anyone else's. What matters is that it's steady enough for your healthcare team to work with. When your vitamin K intake is predictable, it's much easier to keep your blood thinner dose in a safe range. The second idea is preparation. A lot of the harsh effects of these vegetables show up when we eat them in huge raw amounts or drown them in heavy, salty sauces. Lightly cooking kale instead of always drinking it raw in smoothies can be easier on your thyroid and digestion. Roasting Brussels sprouts with olive oil, herbs, and lemon instead of bacon and thick cheese cuts down on salt and unhealthy fat. Choosing boiled or steamed beets sometimes instead of only raw juice can lower the oxalate load on your kidneys. Keeping asparagus recipes simple, with less salt and plenty of water to drink, helps avoid dehydration. These tweaks don't remove the nutrients you want. They just reduce the stress on the parts of your body that are already working extra hard. Third, think in terms of balance across the week. If you know you're planning a spinach-heavy lunch, maybe dinner leans on lower vitamin K veggies like carrots, peppers, cauliflower, or green beans. If you put Brussels sprouts on the menu tonight, maybe tomorrow you choose a different side instead of doubling up with kale and asparagus all at once. You're not removing the powerful veggies, you're spreading them out. Fourth, bring your plate into the exam room. Literally, make a short list of the vegetables you eat most often, especially these 5, and how many days a week you usually eat them. Take that list to your doctor, nurse, or pharmacist. Ask clear questions. Is this pattern okay with my blood thinner? Should I make my intake more steady? Do any of these clash with my kidney issues or thyroid medication? You do not have to figure all of this out alone. That's what your care team is for. Your job is to bring them good information about what's actually happening in your kitchen. And finally, watch for red flags and don't brush them off. If you notice more unexplained bruises, nosebleeds that are new for you, sudden headaches, trouble with speech, changes in vision, or swelling and pain in one leg, those are signs to get help right away. Food is only one piece of the puzzle, but when you understand how powerful it can be, you're less likely to ignore symptoms and more likely to speak up in time. A simple checklist before you try a new healthy trend. Let's say you're thinking about jumping on the latest health trend you saw online. Maybe it's a daily green drink with spinach, kale, and beet juice. Maybe it's huge bowls of roasted Brussels sprouts for detox. Before you turn that into a daily ritual, ask yourself 3 quick questions. What medicines am I on that affect my blood, pressure, kidneys, or thyroid? If you're not sure, write the names down and ask your pharmacist to explain what each one does. Is this vegetable known for being high in vitamin K, changing blood pressure, stressing the kidneys, or affecting the thyroid? If it's spinach, kale, Brussels sprouts, beets, or asparagus, the answer is probably yes in one way or another. Or, am I about to make a huge change overnight, or am I easing in slowly? The bigger and faster the change, the more important it is to keep your doctor or pharmacist in the loop. If you still want to try the trend, consider starting small. Maybe have the drink twice a week instead of every day. Pay attention to how you feel. Note any changes in energy, dizziness, sleep, or digestion. Bring those observations to your next appointment. That way, you and your care team are making decisions together, instead of your medicine quietly chasing your diet from behind. This isn't about being paranoid. It's about being wise. Mindset, support, and your next small step. There's one more piece people don't talk about enough: the emotional side of all this. Many seniors feel guilty if they're not eating perfectly, or embarrassed when their doctor points out that a certain food trend might not be ideal for them. They see headlines about superfoods and miracle juices and feel confused or left behind. If that's you, I want you to hear this clearly. Feeling overwhelmed by nutrition advice does not mean you've failed. The information out there is more complicated and more dramatic than ever. Most headlines are written to grab clicks, not to give calm, personalized guidance. Instead of chasing every new trend, build your own steady approach. Focus on balance, variety, and consistency. Keep these 5 vegetables in your toolbox, but treat them like strong tools, not toys. A hammer is amazing when you need to hang a picture, but you wouldn't swing it wildly around your living room. In the same way, spinach, beets, kale, asparagus, and Brussels sprouts can absolutely support your health when you use them with intention. They become risky when they're piled on top of complex prescriptions without anyone stopping to ask, how does this all fit together for me? If you live with or care for an older adult, you can help more than you realize. Offer to go through the fridge and pantry together. Look at how often certain vegetables show up. Ask gentle questions like, has your doctor ever talked about how greens and blood thinners interact? Or, would you like me to come with you to your next visit so we can ask about your diet? Support doesn't have to mean controlling someone's food. Often it simply means making space for honest conversations and helping remember the details. And if you're watching this and you're not yet a senior yourself, this still matters. The habits you build in your 40s and 50s set the stage for how complicated things will feel later. Learning now that food and medicine are a team sport gives you a head start. You can practice listening to your body, tracking how you feel after certain foods, and asking questions long before the stakes get higher. At the end of the day, the message of this video isn't fear your vegetables. It's know your vegetables, know your body, and let them work together instead of against each other. When you sit down to a meal that includes any of these 5 foods, you can now see more than just color and flavor. You can see vitamin K that needs to stay steady. You can see nitrates that can nudge blood pressure. You can see oxalates and purines that ask your kidneys to work a little harder. You can see how heavy sauces and extra salt quietly sneak in and bother your arteries. With that clearer picture, every bite becomes an informed choice instead of a guessing game. So as you plan your next grocery list, maybe circle 1 or 2 of these vegetables with a new level of respect. You might decide to keep them in smaller, steady amounts. You might try lighter recipes. You might write down a question to ask your doctor before doubling up your usual serving. Whatever you choose, let it come from understanding, not fear. You've worked hard for the life you have. You deserve meals that support that life, not surprises that quietly undermine it. If this video helped you connect the dots between your plate, your pills, and your long-term health, consider sharing it with someone you care about, a friend, a partner, a parent, or an adult child who worries about you. In the comments, tell us one small change you plan to make. Will you space out your green servings? Will you write down your questions for your next appointment? Will you try a new, lighter way to cook your favorite vegetable? Your ideas might spark someone else's next step, and together, those steps add up. Most of all, remember that you're allowed to ask for clear, simple explanations from your healthcare team. You are absolutely allowed to say, "Can you explain how this medicine interacts with my food in a way I can actually use in my kitchen?" When you do that, you turn medical advice into daily habits. You turn scary words like clot and stroke risk into manageable, practical action steps. That's what real prevention looks like, and it starts with exactly what you're doing right now: learning, paying attention, and taking your health seriously. Thank you for spending this time investing in yourself. If you learned something today, let us know in the comments what surprised you the most and what small change you're going to try. And if you want more down-to-earth guidance on eating well with heart and brain health in mind, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. You're not just eating to get through the day anymore. You're eating to protect your future, and that is something to be proud of.